Want to take a stab at being social? I do like stabbing. The social part, not so much.
Oh boy, Wednesday. I feel like Netflix has been hyping up this series for the past 8 months now, so needless to say, I was excited and more so ready to watch. Jenna Ortega is honestly a brilliant actress. She's quickly established herself as the Gen Z scream queen from projects like X, Scream, and The Fallout. She was also in You Season 2, but I feel like nobody talks about that.
What's your Insta? Or do you only have a Finsta?
I'm a little behind the times.
Clearly.
It's fair to say that Jenna will undoubtedly rule Hollywood in the next 10 years, no questions asked. I mean, she is just phenomenal. And with all that being said, my expectations were high. I mean, combining Tim Burton and Jenna Ortega, all under Netflix's production, you have to ask yourself, what could go wrong?
I act as if I don't care if people dislike me. I actually enjoy it.
But after watching all 8 episodes, I can strongly say this show is just not that good. And anyone who says otherwise is a liar. Now, the show isn't terrible, but it's lacking suspense and seriousness. Unfortunately, a lot of these red flags can be spotted just within the first episode. It starts off with a strong intro as Jenna is leading, but within the first 20 minutes, it becomes apparent that the writing is weak, the character development is lacking, and some of the acting is Disney-esque. The only redeeming quality? Jenna.
She's been smothering me with hospitality. I hope to return the favor. In her sleep.
And it seems like any positive review on the show is solely praising Ortega's performance, or some parent saying their 11-year-old enjoyed it. And let's get one thing straight, I am not a hater. I wanted to like the show so much. I wanted the show to be so unbelievably good that I told all my friends and family about it, and I made a positive review about it. All just because I think Jenna Ortega is so great. I too want to romanticize the idea of executing a reboot of a classic like The Addams Family perfectly.
Uncle Fester.
I like to travel incognito. Come on, let's roll.
But sometimes that's just too much to ask. And as much as it hurts me to say, anyone with an understanding of what good TV is can tell you that the show is underwhelming at the very least. It's literally Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, like a carbon copy. But I gotta be honest, I was never a super diehard OG fan of the Addams Family to begin with. I don't even think I've ever seen the movie in its entirety. So I decided to do some research because I always assumed the movie was about a family of vampires or like a family of monsters, just by the atmosphere and the fact that there's a walking hand, but turns out they're actually human. Bro, what? Am I the only one who thought this, or is this another Mandela effect? Like, the original movie is not even supernatural. They just live close to the dark. So how do you explain this thing? Anyways, to be even more honest, if Jenna Ortega wasn't the lead role in this Netflix series, which might as well be a CW show, I probably wouldn't be watching. The series follows Wednesday Addams moving to a new school called Nevermore Academy. Quickly, we learn that Wednesday has psychic visions that let her see things from the past and the future.
I'm not about to confess to my brother that I've recently been plagued by visions. They come on without warning.
And the way her character is introduced builds the potential for a solid plotline and adds dimensionality to her already witty character. Immediately as we start off the series, her brother is being bullied by the swim team, so she decides to get revenge. Yeah, she kills them. Well, not actually. Which you'd think she'd get arrested for attempted first-degree murder, but no, she just gets expelled. So her parents force her to go to Nevermore Academy, which is where the real story begins. From the get-go, Wednesday is exactly what you'd expect her character to be. Super dark, sassy yet monotone, negative, loves sadness and despair. You know, the usual.
Are you feeling okay? You look a little pale.
Please excuse Wednesday. She's allergic to color.
Oh, wow. What happens to you?
I break out into hives and then the flesh peels off my bones.
And Jenna just plays her mannerisms so well. She truly embodies the role, partly because her real-life personality gives off the same vibes. Not to mention the costume design is just great, and even the set production is pretty phenomenal. It's almost like the quality of the show is good, but then the show itself is not so good, if that makes sense. The show is presented very much like present-day Addams Family, I guess. Well, that's what it claims to be. Even though I'm not really familiar with the original, like I said, I honestly believe that the show could have had the same storyline and characters even if it wasn't based off the Addams Family, and more specifically Wednesday Addams. The storyline has very little to do with the original family besides the character names. So honestly, if you're just watching this for the Addams Family nostalgia, you might not get it. However, in this version, the characters have like superpowers. I mean, this guy has snakes in his hair, so...
You better watch your back.
Quite the contrary. I actually fillet the bodies of my victims, then feed them to my menagerie of pets.
But there's also normal people in their world from what I've gathered, and they all just coexist together. They make references to TikTok and social media, but also keep the theme of classic 1980s horror.
It's what my followers love.
Your followers are clearly imbeciles.
The school has its cliques with the popular kids and the cool guy and the really annoying best friend. And when I say annoying best friend, I mean like really annoying. She's like part cat, I guess.
Don't mess with me. This kitty's got claws and I'm not afraid to use them.
Yeah, it's that kind of show. She runs a drama blog, aka a tea channel, and literally talks like this.
You mean emojis? It's how people express their feelings. You know, I realize that's a foreign concept to you.
When I look at you, the following emojis come to mind. Rope, shovel, hole.
This isn't how teenagers talk. No one talks in emoji. Who is writing this stuff? I honestly just don't know how I feel about taking classics and giving them this modern Gen Z twist to relate to younger audiences. Like, this genre of TV reminds me of Enola Holmes, where it's technically a drama, but the plotline is not too serious. But the thing that Enola Holmes does right is that it sticks to its time period. It's not Sherlock Holmes using Twitter to solve his cases. It's a spin-off built in the same time and universe. But Wednesday can get a little cheesy at some points. I just really wish they didn't make references to TikTok every other scene, because it takes away from the seriousness and the performances.
Oh, you know, you should really get on Insta, Snapchat, and TikTok.
I find social media to be a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation.
And as we progress through the series, it continues with Wednesday trying to uncover her family's secret involving a murder mystery, who is killing people at the school, who this monster is. The show has some moments that made me smile, but it was usually only because Jenna Ortega was delivering a funny line.
I'm not sure whose twisted idea it was to put hundreds of adolescents in underfunded schools.
And I think that this critic review sums up the show perfectly. Wednesday isn't exactly full of woe for viewers, but without Jenna Ortega as the lead, this Addams Family adjacent series might as well be another CW drama. The show reeks of Riverdale, I hate to say it, but inevitably Jenna is carrying the show on her back. I know it's a harsh criticism, but again, the writing just isn't that great. The characters are dull and lack development aside from Wednesday, and it's like, even if you have an amazing actress, a world-famous director, impeccable costume design, and really unique production, what good does it do if the writing sucks? Netflix is just so hit or miss with these shows. You know you'll always get quality TV with networks like HBO or Apple TV, but then there's networks like CW, Freeform, and even ABC where you just don't know what you're gonna get. At this point, you'd think I'd know not to get my expectations up anymore. And a lot of the other reviews say similar things. Riverdale, teen drama, chilling adventures of Sabrina. Honestly, that's the perfect way to describe this show. It's so similar to Sabrina, where it has a creepy, eerie tone, but at the end of the day, it's essentially a kids show, with the only redeeming quality, again, being Jenna Ortega. It's a clear consensus that she is an outstanding actress who could honestly do a lot better than this series. It just sucks because I was really hoping for a banger, considering most of Jenna's projects are just so good, but I guess it fits the preteen drama category pretty well.